Okay, hi and welcome. So this is voiced over because I managed to film this without my headset being on. But yeah, a long time ago I bought this sketch box from Winsor Newton. It's a 24 mixed box. Um, I I got it fairly cheaply, and yeah, there was the colors in it that there was in it, so it's not entirely my choice, but I quite like the choice. And this is how it looks right now, and that's my swatch chart there. And you can see that I've removed Chinese white, ivory black, Perylene, Prussian blue, and Orlin for different reasons. Chinese white I don't really use. Ivory black don't use a lot. I don't like ivory black much. Viridian, the one that I like, but the one that was in the tin was a half pan, and it was so dry and bone hard I could barely get it out of the half pan. Um, so I ended up giving up on it. There's a swatch down there, and it's not looking very good. And that was the best of it. Prussian blue, I've given up on more or less because it has weird light fast issues. And Orlin I also dropped for the same reason. It is not very light fast, and actually is worse than that. It turns brown, grayish brown when it is exposed to sunlight. So yeah, those out, and then I have put other colors in over not at any one time, but over time I've changed some colors out or put some other ones in. So in there you will see. I try to remember what I said. Yeah, those five colors I took out. Um, the Viridian and the Prussian blue and the Orlin, I actually tossed the content of the half pan out because they weren't really worth anything. I remember the Orlin also being a little weird in the pan. I think it had sat in a shelf for a long time at a warehouse. So I added green gold because I found out they had PY 129. And I don't like those two yellows, so I bought a bismuth yellow as instead of the lemon yellow over there on the swatch chart. Um, I'm not sure about that. I put the lemon yellow bag. It's been in and out of the tin a few times. It's somewhat opaque, and it's okay when it's swatched out, but and it's somewhat okay to paint with. But I prefer the other yellows I got. I got a new gamboge I put in there as well. The one in the between the lemon yellow and that is Winsor Winsor yellow is okay. There was Winsor orange in there too, and then it skipped right up to Winsor red, which is a somewhat cool color. So I bought the cadmium scarlet. Uh, Today I would have picked something else. This was quite a while back. Today I would probably have picked a Pyrrole red or something. Then Indanthrane blue I put in there as well because I like that. And a potter's pink, and you can see the most of the potter's pink is actually gone. And it's not because I painted actually very much with it, but super granulating color, and it just goes nowhere. It's but most of the very granulating colors is like that. Probably because the pigments are large. Perylene Violet was a mishap. I actually thought I ordered Perylene Maroon, but I must have clicked the wrong one. It said Perylene Violet on my order, and yeah, I actually quite like it. I'm actually liking that a lot. So I also added a sepia because at the time I used sepia instead of black in many instances. Then later I bought aqua green. It's a phthalo green, blue green, turquoisey type of color, and I could only get it in a tube. That's why it's a little squished down there. And I also bought smalt blue. That is a Dumont blue copy. Chinese white has to go because I'm out of space in my palette. I ordered actually a bit too much, and I might have ordered a little extra. So come on, slide over. There it went. So yeah, counting up, there's room for 6 colors, and as this is an art haul, we will take the colors. I got an old tube of Davies Grey, and spoiler alert, it won't make it into the set this time either. It's quite dry in there. It's 40 years old or so, and I sometimes have to add some water to squeeze a little paint out of it. But yeah, I bought new colors, and they sent me a sample tube of Tree Art's Paynes Grey high viscosity acrylic. I didn't order it, but it came with my order, so let's have a look at it later. And here comes the gold, if I can get the lid off. I don't know why I get butterfingers there all the time on camera. So I ordered also a core color, transparent Pyrrole orange. And we will get to that at some other point, not really today, why I did that. And the rest is Winsor Newton for today. So slide things around and let's have a look. There's a Perylene Green. I love Perylene colors. And trying to find a tool to open it with, but you don't need a tool, just open it. Come on. Yeah, don't talk so much. Just open it. Come on. Just peel that off. Yeah, come on. It's not that hard. There you go. Whoopsie. So I got that in a half pan because there was no tubes available in the shop. And I didn't want to wait because I had a coupon code that gave me 15% off. And it was a time limited offer, so half pan it is. And there we go. The belly band is off. Sleeves up, and here we go. I'm so happy when I see other YouTubers struggling with opening stuff on camera. I don't know why it's so hard. There we go. And I'm just gonna stick all these pans in there. There's room for all the colors I bought today. But later I will rearrange them. It won't be in this video though. So that's an Antwerp Blue. And you might ask, why did you get that when you don't use Paynes Prussian Blue? And I did because I'm looking into taking at least one online course, and that was one of the recommended colors for that. And I'm not really planning on using it, but I'm planning to sample it and see if I can find something that looks sort of like it. So we have there, I am not entirely sure, I think that is the transparent yellow. That is a PY51 pigment, single pigment color, and I love that color, love that pigment. So of course it needs to go on my palette where I already got, what, 5 yellows, because we need that, right? And The next one is Terre Verde green shade, no, yellow shade. It's a pale earthy green, and lots of people don't really think much of it because it's super transparent and a little hard to use. But yeah, I'll explain later why I got it. I got it. I've had my eyes on it for a while, and now I got my eyes on it even more, and I bought it. That one is transparent golden deep. It's the new version of quinacridone gold hue. They don't have any more PY 48, I think, the quinacridone rust color. So it's a new formulation, and with new formulation came a new name. They say on their website it's essentially the same color, that it's hard to tell the new from the old version. And then there's Madder Brown. That was also a suggested color. And so, who doesn't like a brown? The one I got is the old formulation with PR206, and I believe that's a quinacridone color that is discontinued. So if you buy a tube now, you might get that, or you might get the new version, which is a Perylene maroon color, PR 178 or 179. Ultramarine violet, and my Davies gray there. So, and the core Pyrrole orange is a PO71. So let's try and swatch them out. I skipped all the putting into pans and stuff. That was a hot mess, and a little bit of a disagreement with a cat on the way there. So let's just start with the transparent yellow. And that paints out pretty much as I would have expected. And believe it or not, I got tons of light on my desk, but it looks kind of dark. So it's kind of a darkish yellow, so I put it up beside my new gamboge, which seems warmer, and it is because it contains some red. But if you add a little more to the mass tone of that transparent yellow, you can see it has that deep, almost brownish undertone. And here comes the not quinacridone gold. That name is insane. Transparent golden deep. That's so long to say. Quin gold would be... New Quin Gold would be even easier. And yeah, it contains PY 152. No, as well. Not 52. 150 as well. The formulation they wrote on the tube is PR 179 and PV 19, and then PY 150. And it's very much a convenient color. It's just that golden, transparent golden, nearly orange. It leads the mind towards a very orange burnt sienna or something. So let us continue with that Antwerp Blue. And that is PB27, which is the pigment of Prussian blue. This is maybe a wee bit more red leaning, but I'm not sure. And I don't really have my old Prussian blue to compare it to. But as I said, it's for sketchbook work and to compare it to other blues to see if I have another greenish blue that looks somewhat like it. This is quite bright, at least as long as it's wet. And it leads my mind towards a green shade phthalo. I got the Winsor Newton Winsor Blue green shade, which is a phthalo blue green shade, but it's a different color altogether. And let's have a look at them when they dry. They're both green leaning, so the question is if you use it in mixes, if it makes all that much of a difference. You might need to use a little less of the phthalo blue, which is okay with me. I am used to using phthalos, so it's not such a problem for me to mix with them anymore. In the beginning it was difficult. So we in another video or just to myself, I'll try and figure that out. So let us try the Ultramarine Violet PB15. And oh, what a gentle violet that is. It's PB15, or is it PV15? I probably wrote it wrong on my paper. Can't read it. It's too shiny on the tube. But anyways, it's the same color that is in the Smoke Blue that I also got on my palette but didn't swatch out. So on to Madder Brown, and that is yummy. A deep brownish red. It's fantastic. And it looks like a Perylene to me. I got Perylene Maroon from Liquitex in their ink, and I'm gonna swatch that next to so you can see how close those two are. So it's not maybe so obvious while they're wet, but when they dry they will look a lot more similar. And that is PR179 in there. So Terre Verde is up next. I had to stir it in the tube because the pigment had separated, and it feels kind of, I need to stir it a little bit in the pan too, I think. It's a little clumpy and swatch out a little streaky. I got this because Winsor Newton has come out with a new line of colors. I forgot what they're called. It's a remake of old pigments, or a copy of old pigments that is either toxic or light fast or both. And they got one that is called Ultramarine Ash, and I kind of like that. I was considering to get it, but then I looked at the pigment information, and it was Ultramarine Blue and Earth Green PG23, and I had been looking at that for a long time, so I thought I'll just get that instead, because I can mix that with other colors and greens and stuff, and I can make my own version of Ultramarine Ash. Maybe there's the Ultramarine, and make something similar to what they offer. Not exactly the same, I don't know exactly what the mixture is, but if I could just get a gentle bluish gray or greenish gray out of it, I would be fine with that. And can. They mix this very nicely, actually. So I better take a break because my phone is ringing. So yeah, so that makes this okay. It looks a little uneven, but let's see how it dries. I hope the paint feels just a little bit less gummy once the pan is dry. It usually helps. So let's wash the brush and go to Perylene Green. Discussing with the cat again. Somebody wanted wet food. Perylene Green. Come on. It's a nice green black. If you know what Schminke's Perylene Green look like, it's more bright than that. And I got the regular Perylene Green from Roman Schmoll. It's darker than that. So that is absolutely perfect. Great buy. And yeah, we got that novel color there, Davis Gray. And I don't think, but I'm not sure if they changed the formula for this. So I got no pigment information to give you, just that it's a nice greenish gray, a bit on the opaque side. And I need to use it up. I had it for 40 years or so. So it's time for it to find some use. So I usually keep a little blotch like that on the pan. And it's one of those colors where I kind of like it, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it on my palette. If I'm gonna keep it on my palette, it needs to find a spot in there somehow. I'm not buying a bigger palette for my Winsor Newton colors. I got enough. So I told you I had a Pyrrole orange already, and it sits right there. But the one I got is a small tube from I think it came in the High Chroma set that I bought a long time ago. So it's a very bright but also very deep orange. I wish it kept its color from when it's wet to it's dry, because it's more earthy when it's wet. So yeah, that sits in there with all of my Rembrandt paints, and away it goes for now. I'm gonna talk in a different video about Pyrrole Orange because I got things to say, but this video would be 2 hours long if I started talking about everything that is going on in my color considerations. So that was that tree art high viscosity acrylic, and that's a Paynes Grey. There's no pigment information I can give you, but let's try. My brush was kind of a lot wet, so it painted out quite flat. It retained a little bit of some strokes up at the top, at least when wet. But I think I used too much water, to be honest. But I usually paint flat also when I paint with acrylics, so it's no problem for me. But high viscosity sounds like heavy body to me, so I don't know if people will like it as a heavy body. And I kept on adding water just to get an idea about the pigment load, and it took a lot of water before it started to show any kind of transparency and change in color. I dipped 2 or 3 times full brush into it before I got it painted down. So that's a nice acrylic. don't paint much with acrylic at the moment, mostly acrylic inks if I even do. But yeah, this one might actually spur me to try and paint with acrylic a bit more again. So, so that's my choice of colors at the moment. I need to let it dry. Okay, everything is dry, and I'm redoing this part so I can do it real time instead of voicing over. So the transparent yellow is a little different, but not a lot from the gamboge. The transparent golden deep did dry more brownish. I like that. The Winsor Blue green shade that I had looks nothing like the Antwerp Blue that I just got. I will need to think about what to do, if to do anything. Ultramarine deep, no, ultramarine violet, and I wrote this wrong first and I have corrected it. PV15. Very nice grayish, gentle purple with a little bit of granulation. This paper I don't think is super good for granulation, but it's okay. I'm not sure my camera can keep up. The Matte Brown, absolute a favorite. And it looks a lot like the Perylene Maroon that I love from Liquitex acrylic inks. The Terre Verde did dry out more smoothly than I put it down, so that's a plus. And I really like that mix with Ultramarine Blue. Gotta try it with other colors as well. And that Perylene Green, yum yum yum, just it is still really nice and green, and it didn't pale down very much. Now, this paper is a cellulose paper. It might be that it looks different and a little more pale on a cotton paper where it can sink in better. My odd Davis Grey there is just there, and it's a greyish green as Davis Greys go. Coarse Pyrrole orange goes down really earthy, but it is still a little earthy, but it's more just a plain orange when it dries, but still a nice one. And this sample dried mostly matte, especially where I put a lot of water in it. Up here is a bit of a rich still. You can see I tried to retain some brush strokes and stuff up here. And mostly they dried down flat. If that's the paint, I'm not sure. I did add a lot of water. I had lots of water on my brush. But the color is nice, and it was really felt nice to paint with, and loads of pigment in there. So this is all I have to show for today. And thank you for watching. If you stick by, we might have a little cataloot here at the end. Take care.